This video is sponsored by War Thunder. History's good as boys. Being a good boy is not limited to any one animal. It could be a dog, a cat, a bat, a rat, or even your 4-year-old little cousin when he isn't kicking your shins. That being said, our first good boy is Gustav. Ever since he was just a little embryo wriggling in his egg, he wanted to serve his country. So when it was time to leave the nest, he decided to enlist in the military, despite parental pressures not to. After some intense training with his new human counterpart, Frederick Jackson of Causham, Gustav earned his wings and was officially made a service pigeon for the British Royal Air Force during World War II. So which one is yours? Oh, that handsome little pigeon right in the middle there. Ugh, pervert. Early in his career, Gustav was part of the Belgian resistance, carrying messages out of German-occupied Belgium. But since the Germans had previously occupied Belgium for 4 years during World War I, the Belgians knew the drill. Oh honey, it looks like the Germans are back. I'll go get the mallet. After a long, successful run of sending messages in and out of Belgium, Gustav would be assigned his most important role yet. On June 6, 1944, Gustav was aboard an Allied landing ship headed towards the beaches of Normandy. If you know your history, you're familiar with that date being D-Day, when Allied forces decided to penetrate a very German France. Unfortunately, our feathered friend was not well versed in combat, so he was tasked with delivering critical news back to the UK about the mission. Gustav held the message in his little footsie and took wing, 150 whole miles against a 30-mile-an-hour headwind. Bro was flapping. After just over 5 hours of continuous flight, the message was received, being the first official update on D-Day's mission status since the fleet went radio silent to avoid detection. For his service, Gustav was given a Dickon. Yeah, a Dickon Medal for his bravery, which is the animal equivalent of the British Victoria Cross or the US Medal of Honor. Gustav eventually retired from service and lived out the rest of his days with his best friend and former trainer, Fred Jackson. He went to the great nest in the sky as a war hero and an official good boy. By the end of the war, a total of 32 carrier pigeons were awarded a Dickon Medal. For instance, the comically but fashionably named William of Orange, who saved over 2,000 soldiers with a single message carried over 250 miles in just over 4 hours. 10 years after his retirement, he was reportedly a, quote, grandfather of many outstanding racing pigeons. Our next good boy was actually a good girl with a badass name. Meet Sergeant Reckless, a United States Mongolian warhorse during the Korean War. And no, that's not just a funny title like calling a rabbit Captain Puffers. Reckless actually held the rank of Staff Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. This absolute tank of a warhorse was purchased in 1952 off of a stable boy in Seoul, South Korea for 250 smackers. Apparently, the young fragile boy needed money to buy an artificial leg for his apparently even more fragile sister. Always some kind of Disney Pixar tragic backstory, isn't it? Reckless was taken in by the United States Marine Corps and trained to be a pack horse for a regiment specializing in anti-tank armaments. Not surprisingly, the platoon took to her very quickly, and she was immediately one of the gang, allowed to roam freely amongst the camp and poke her head in around the tents. Do you mind? She was known to eat nearly anything that was available. Chocolate, eggs, beer, the Marines' treasured supply of delicious and nutritious crayons. She even once ate a small pile of poker chips, if you could believe that. Alright fellas, I'm all in. God damn it, I fold. Being a pack horse and all, Reckless's main duty was to carry supplies and ammunition to the battlefront, but she even managed to carry wounded off of the field to safety. And she was a pretty smart girl, learning her supply routes after only a few trips, unlike me who still uses the GPS to make sure I take the same exit that I've taken 50 times before.
Recalculating. Idiot.
But Reckless's claim to fame came in March of 1953 during the Battle for Outpost Vegas. In a single day, this heroic equine managed to make 51 resupply trips to the front lines solo. No handler needed. Across those trips, she totaled over 9,000 pounds of ammunition over 35 miles of travel. She is the definition of understanding the assignment. She did sustain 2 minor wounds in the battle, but was promoted to corporal shortly after the battle had ended, with another promotion to sergeant after the entire Korean War ended. For her services, she was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, a Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, and was included in her unit's Presidential Unit Citations, among other military honors. Yeah, nothing could stop this anti-tank warhorse. Oh. Oh my god, is that War Thunder? The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made that is now available for free on PC and consoles?
That's right. This beauty right here is just one of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and even ships that are at your command. Take control of puny tin cans from the 1920s or even more devastating mobile fortresses of today. I personally enjoy rolling onto the battlefield with the boys in the Zerster 45, so that they're always within hugging distance. You'll be thrown right into the battle with cutting-edge graphics and sound, so you can see and watch your less experienced teammates get slaughtered. The nerds behind War Thunder even made it heavily optimized so it'll run on even the older gaming rigs.
Yeah, that's right,
Shut up! If you want to master the art of destruction using unique features like the damage x-ray playback to hone in on enemy weak points, join the worldwide community of over 70 million players today like this guy. Don't you love War Thunder? You heard him. Click the link in the pinned comment to get started today and earn your new and returning player bonuses. Look at all these goodies. You got your premium vehicles, your free Eagle of Valor decoration, 7 days of premium access, and even 100,000 silver lines to get you started. Sign up today.
Sergeant Reckless? Next up, Simon. Look at this handsome little man. Now, before you comment, no, this isn't Unsinkable Sam. This is Simon. How do I know? Well, his tag is for the HMS Amethyst, which is the ship that Simon served on, but I'll get to that in a bit. Just know that most of, if not all, stories of Unsinkable Sam mistakenly use Simon's picture instead, with his tag cropped out. It's quite the scandal, and I won't stand for it. Anyway, in 1948, on a cold Chinese morning in China, little Simon was doing cat things in a dockyard in Hong Kong. He was found by a 17-year-old naval seaman named George Hickenbottom, who was a crew member of the locally docked British frigate, the HMS Amethyst. But little Simon was not in such good condition. He was estimated to be about a year old at this point and was pretty malnourished. I'm going to keep you and love you forever. Meow. And so, Simon was smuggled onto the ship. However, due to small obvious signs of cat activity, Simon was almost immediately discovered, but was instantly adored by the crew. Because, I mean, come on. How could you not? Look at him. It ended up being a solid deal as Simon would hunt rats aboard the vessel, providing him a reliable source of food and ridding the crew of pests. Everything seemed well and good on a mission up the Yangtze River until the incident. Halfway up the river, the Amethyst came under fire from a group of Chinese People's Liberation Army field guns. The little bastards were absolutely relentless. The rounds struck the captain's quarters where Simon was stationed. He sustained serious wounds but was rushed to the medical bay for treatment. His burns were tended to and shrapnel was removed, but he was not expected to survive. But you should never doubt Simon. The fearless little feline ended up making a full recovery and went straight back to work because them rats got too comfy with him being out of commission for a bit. Simon's KC skyrocketed, along with the crew's morale. Mate's the captain, he's fucking dead. Don't ruin this for us. After the incident, Simon became an instant celebrity, gaining publicity all over the world. For his services, he was granted the Dickon Medal, a Blue Cross Medal, and the Amethyst Campaign Medal. He was even given the rank of Able Seacat for his exceptional rat hunting abilities. Little Simon was a huge star. When he was finally able to move to his new home in England, Simon was required to be placed in quarantine per regulations. It was here that Simon tragically contracted a virus and was granted 50% opacity on November 28, 1949 at just 2 years of age. The entire Amethyst crew and hundreds of other adoring fans attended his funeral in the Ilford Animal Cemetery in East London, where he loafs bonily to this day. Moving on, we have this prestigious primate right here, Corporal Jackie the Baboon. His story begins in the 1910s in South Africa when he was found roaming around a farm. The owner, Albert Marr, took Jackie in as a pet because why not have a pet baboon? Over the next few years, the two grew close and were like family, but of course, the world decided to slam a wedge into the family as well as millions of other families around the globe when World War I broke out. Albert was drafted into the South African Army in 1915 but refused to leave Jackie at home, to which Albert's commanding officers were like, Alright, the Baboon can come. And so, Jackie was made the mascot for the 3rd South African Infantry Regiment, complete with his own little uniform with hat, rations, and his own little paybook. To no surprise, he was adored by the regiment. In true soldier fashion, Jackie would salute his superior officers, march with the regiment, eat with his own fork and knife, and would even light other soldiers' cigarettes. He was such a good boy. Outside of just entertainment and morale, Jackie proved to be a valuable asset to the team. His heightened senses allowed him to be alerted to incoming attacks well before human soldiers would be able to. The war did end up taking Jackie and Albert far from home, with one of their first major combat encounters being the Battle of the Somme in 1916 France. Both Jackie and Albert survived quite a few high casualty battles across their tour. While serving in Egypt, Albert was shot in the shoulder, and Jackie stayed with him and tended to his wounds while awaiting medical aid. Jackie, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, buddy. Nonsense, Albert. Despite both him and Albert sustaining wounds, they both survived the war. Jackie was awarded a Medal of Valor for his bravery and was promoted to corporal. Both he and Albert returned home to South Africa. Although Jackie managed to survive years under fire during the war, he ultimately perished in a fire in 1921 at home. But he was still a good boy. Now, unless you're a Hollywood elite, you don't often want to become friends with a natural predator. But the Polish military had a different idea in 1942 during a little-known event called World War II. A Syrian brown bear cub was adopted and given to the 22nd Artillery Supply Company of the Polish military. The troops instantly loved the bear because what else was there to do? They ended up naming him Wojtek, which loosely translates to Happy Warrior because he was a happy boy indeed. The troops raised the cub by feeding it condensed milk from a vodka bottle and then eventually various fruits and syrups. The bear grew attached to the soldiers, copying their every move. When the soldiers slept, he slept. When it was time for a nice morning coffee and cigarette, Wojtek would drink coffee and eat a cigarette. When being saluted, Wojtek would salute back. He was an ideal and loyal companion, despite being a giant fucking bear. After the company was assigned to fight alongside the British during the Italian campaign, the British displayed their signature racism against bears, forbidding Wojtek from being transported with the troops since he wasn't a soldier. So, as a big Pierre Doche to the Brits, Wojtek was immediately enlisted as a private into the Polish military. Oh, so you can have pigeons but you draw the line at bears? Whatever. Now officially being part of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, his main job was to transport crates of ammunition to troops, which he was very successful at doing. He would lift large crates of artillery shells onto trucks, a job that normally required the strength of 4 men. It was noted that he never dropped a single crate, lest he obliterated his entire fan base and you wouldn't be hearing much about him today, other than that one idiot bear who dropped a bomb and killed everyone. For his work, he was promoted to corporal and became the official symbol of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. Once World War II peacefully concluded, Wojtek spent the rest of his days in the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland, where he would be frequently visited by his military pals. Adoring fans would often toss cigarettes for Wojtek to munch on as a treat. He kicked the honeypot 16 years later at the age of 21. At ease, soldier. Although he never received any medals for his service, Wojtek was beloved by many across Europe and is immortalized with several statues across Poland, the UK, and even Italy. Well, that was a pleasant one, wasn't it? Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Remember to sign up through the link in the pinned comment below and get ready to storm the battlefield with your buddies on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation today to receive your free premium vehicles, 7-day access, and other sweet, sweet bonuses. You can also click here to watch another video. You know you want to. I'll see you over there.